From Hofstra University at Stewart Stadium, Verizon Files One Sports brings you the Nassau County Conference 2 semifinals. Old rivals reunite as the Warriors of Wantagh, they're the 4 seed at 7-2, take on the Trojans of Garden City, a perfect 9-0. They're the number 1 seed. Well, hey, how you doing? I'm Keith Irizarry. Thank you so much for joining us. Alongside me on the call is DeVal Ellis. And DeVal, these two squads, the schools know each other. They play each other in just about every sport. This should be one of those old school, grinded out type of games.
I expect to see it. You know, both teams are eerily similar style of offenses. The key players, as we get to them, are similar type of guys. It's going to be one of those games that's going to come down to like the last play on the last drive.
Alluding to it, so we'll go to those highlight players. Kyle Sliwak for Wantagh, just a junior, but boy, this kid runs hard.
Yeah, he runs very hard, and he's quicker than fast. When you watch him on film, you'll see that he'll break into the second level. He's the kind of guy that if he doesn't get caught early and he gets going, he can break a big one, but he's very physical in between the tackles.
He will go on to play lacrosse at Hofstra University, but today it's all about football. On the flip side for the Trojans, Bryant Hafner is single-handedly breaking all the records at Garden City.
And Bryant Hafner, not only an offensive guy, but a defensive guy. We watched him last year dominate in the secondary, as a linebacker, but also in the backfield, just rushing for tons and tons of yards. They're going to need him as well as Schmelzinger to get things going early and often for this offense to stay on the field.
Over 1,200 yards on the ground for Hafner. So Sliwak and Hafner, just two of the names we will talk about today. So many more to get to. It's Wantagh, it's Garden City, and it's coming up next right here and only here on Verizon Files One Sports. Nassau County Conference 2 semifinals. It is number 1 Garden City taking on number 4 Wantagh. They're the Trojans entering the field at Stewart Stadium. Garden City in their maroon uniforms. As for Wantagh, 7-2 on the season. Coming in off the 48-21 win over Mepham. There's Keith Sachs on the right side of your screen. 24 years, 137 wins, 78 losses, and 1 tie. Also the baseball coach. On the flip side for Garden City, it is a new era as Dave Ettinger has taken over his first year as the head coach, second year on the staff. Prior, he was the offensive coordinator, former Hofstra kicker, class of 1998. All right, those are some of the particulars. Let's get into the keys to the game. DeVal, what do you have for us?
You would expect the keys to be similar as two teams run similar styles of offense, but for Wantagh, you have to stuff the box and defend very well. And you have to keep a balanced offense, show them a couple different looks to keep Garden City's on their heels. For Garden City, you got to feed the beast, and I'm talking about Hefner. He's the best guy on your team. Give him the ball early and often, and you have to limit Wantagh's big plays. You got to keep them on the sideline, get off the field on third down.
Wantagh, they won the toss, they deferred, so they will kick. Garden City will receive. Brian DeVito is set to kick, and there's Brian Hafner. We'll mention his name a lot today. 1,200, almost 1,300 yards on the ground, 20 touchdowns, another 3 as a receiver. Would not shock me if the Warriors kick this one short just to keep it away from Hafner. Wantagh moving from left to right on your television screen. And they do, they go short. High hop, and Hafner will have a chance. Picks up at the 11. Doesn't have much blocking in front of him. And now it's 3 white jerseys that will take him down. The initial hit was John Burke slowing him down.
That's how you run that little kickoff to perfection. You want to keep it away from the playmakers on Garden City, and that's Hefner.
Quarterback is Tim Schmelzinger, a senior, 5'11", 165 pounds, 853 passing yards, another 626 on the ground. In total, he has 15 touchdowns. And Schmelzinger, one of the best athletes on the team. He can throw the ball. They don't ask him to throw the ball very often.
And although Garden City has a new head coach, they still run the same style of offenses. It's still Garden City football.
Hafner is the deep man. DeSantis is the fullback. It'll be Hafner, delayed handoff, big hole. Here he goes to the edge, to the 30. Hafner to the 50. Hafner, and pushed out at the 34-yard line.
The most exciting thing about this play is the execution of the offensive line. Look at the guards pulling around. Look at the guys getting bodies on bodies, wide receivers blocking downfield, and Hefner doing what he does best, finding the gaps, using his speed to get downfield.
56 yards for the super senior. That is starting the game off on the right note.
64 yards on the first down run.
Now it's Coppola, who is sometimes the tight end. He's lined up as your fullback. Counter. And Hafner will go nowhere. Maybe gains a half a yard. Let's introduce you to the rest of the starters. We talked about Brian a lot. You got Mixon, Atkinson, McDougal, and McDade. Those are the wide receivers. On the offensive line, Wantagh, Asher, D'Angelo, Eric Wortman, and Chris Sorsina. Sorsina, the junior, 5'11", 235 pounds. Took over midway through the season. 2nd and 9 coming up. Fake the pitch. It's the handoff to DeSantis, and he bullies his way through, getting north of the 20-yard line. Down at the 17.5. Defensive starters for the Warriors. Buckner, Smith, and Valenti on the D-line. The linebackers, they've got the Casey brothers, Sliwak, Colbert, and Sachs. Then Beckwith, Joyce, and Burke are in your secondary. 3rd and 3. Double tight end. I formation. Schmelzinger rolls out, sees some room, has a first down and more. He is down inside the 10 at the 9.
Keith, you talked a little bit about his athletic ability. You see Schmelzinger when he gets outside the pocket, he has the ability to throw the ball on the run, but watch his eyes. Watch how he looks for these gaps downfield. He cuts back, he tucks it, and now he's going to make a couple people miss and fall forward for additional yardage. Great tool to have back there when you have an athletic quarterback.
Schmelzinger, a senior. Got a couple of D3 schools looking at him. 1st and 10 from the 10. And Hafner will go inside the 5 at about the 3.5-yard line, so a very manageable 2nd and goal.
When you take a look at Garden City, if I would have told you they had a different head coach, you wouldn't have known, because this looks like the same exact football team.
There's Dave Ettinger, an All-American kicker at Hofstra.
Hofstra guys.
Yeah, just prior to me, and what, about 4 years prior to you?
Yeah, I came in 2002.
Yeah, he was class of 98. So. Hafner, no gain, so it'll be 3rd and goal from still the 4-yard line.
And Wantagh, after giving up that big play on 1st down, 56 yards, able to buckle down a little bit here on defense.
McDougal is the wide receiver on the near side. He's their possession receiver, but they're overloading that way Wantagh defense. I thought maybe they would try to throw it on a slant to him. Schmelzinger going to keep all the way. Dives and in. Touchdown from 4 yards out. Tim Schmelzinger gets Garden City on the board.
And Schmelzinger just fell forward for the touchdown. It looked as if he was going to be stopped. The defense stepping up there, slowing Garden City down a little bit, but unable to stop them. You see Schmelzinger here. Hefner's the lead blocker. That's a great block. Your corner comes off late, and Schmelzinger falls in for the touchdown.
A drive that began on their own 10-yard line ends with a 4-yard touchdown and a 7-0 advantage for Garden City.
And this is what you expect to see from Garden City, a perennial powerhouse. Find themselves in the finals every year. They never lose more than 2 games. Just consistency. As we take another look at the touchdown here, the offensive line downfield. Schmelzinger, was about one step away from being a yard too short.
8 plays, 90 yards, and I am very unsure as to where Schmelzinger is going.
On a 7-play,
you have to use the bathroom. I think he's trying to get back to the locker room.
2 minutes, 47 seconds of our game.
Oh, you're right, because their locker room would be on the opposite side of the field.
4 yards
Correct.
out.
Oh, no, now it actually looks like he's speaking with a fan. Oh, I get it. He's going to get the football. You forget, we're so used to watching, college or pro ball where there is someone to get the ball. How about that? You got your starting quarterback who then also goes and gets the football.
It's his football.
I want that football.
I want my football. That's high school football for you.
That's pretty cool.
You don't trust anyone else to get your football.
Yeah, that's mine. Billy Rasakis, a junior kicker, will kick off. Beckwith, but it's short. Taken at the 35-yard line by Jimmy Joyce. And that will be Rob Tucker's chance to lead an offense out on the field. A little bit of shorter distance for Tucker. Over 1,000 yards passing at 11-15, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Last week went for 151 and a trio of touchdowns against Mepham.
And we talked about this offense having to be balanced to try to keep Garden City on their heels. Let's see if he spreads the ball a little bit early in the football game.
Back for 1, charge number 2, Robert Tucker.
Kyle Sliwak, a 5'10", 185-pound. He's got some speed, but he's also a bit of a bruiser. The handoff is to Bruno Surace. And Surace rumbles forward for a gain of 13. Along with Surace and Sliwak, the rest of the skills players has Beckwith, Joyce, and Corey Sachs, the coach's son. And then Corwin, Colbert, Drolich, Buckner, and Loney on the offensive line.
First down.
And they've got a smaller, more athletic offensive line. Drolich at 175, Colbert 195, and Buckner at 200. Tucker gives off to Surace again. Bounces off the first would-be tackler and then runs into a sea of crimson. And we'll meet him. John Wantagh had that tackle. He's in your linebackers with Bello, and then Coppola, Hafner, Garden, Holloway, and DeSantis. Wakta, Puccio, Atkinson, Chris Mixon.
As efficient as this offense is, Garden City, their defense, they fly around at the same pace. But when you look at the steps, when you look at Wantagh come out here on offense, they started very explosive. They look like they have a pep in their step.
Here's Dylan Beckwith riding the back of Buckner. I'm sure you've done your fair share of jet sweeps, right?
Yeah, jet sweeps, that was a lot in Mike Mart's offense in Detroit. We didn't do too many jet sweeps in Hofstra. I think that was a little bit before our time. We do a lot of uncovered screens. But these jet sweeps, they're great when you have those skill position guys and you want to get them the football. They also help you declare the defense. If you see the guys running across, you know you got man coverage. If you see them just shifting, you know it's zone. It gives the runners a little bit of help.
3rd and 3. Corey Sachs shifts over to the left side. Sliwak is the deep man. Surace is the fullback. It's Sliwak. And Sliwak is met in a heap. Andrew DeSantis jumped off the line like a wrecking ball.
Watch DeSantis dissect this play from the beginning. He's going to be at the top of your screen, comes upfield. He doesn't slow down. It was almost as if he was in the huddle for Wantagh. That's what you call reading your keys.
So DeSantis essentially beat Surace to the spot, correct? Because Sachs vacated the position, and Surace was supposed to be there to get the block.
Absolutely, and that happens from watching film, understanding the formation, getting a pre-snap read, and understanding and expecting certain plays.
Now set for the punt. It's 4th and 7. Low punt, angled. And this will drop inside the 2-yard line and mark down at the 1. So a 40-yard punt. You don't see it that often in high school where this works, but it did.
It's called a coughing corner kick. Where the punter deliberately angles the ball towards the out of bounds. You want it to go out right at the 1-yard line, right before the pylon. This is the epitome of a coughing corner. Put it right there in the corner of the field of play. Down at the 1. Now this is going to put some pressure on Garden City because if they take a tackle for a loss, that will be considered a safety. Wantagh will get the football back plus 2 points.
So what are you doing if you want to? You bringing the heat?
If I'm Wantagh right now, I'm bringing all the heat. I'm bringing all the heat. I'm protecting man on the outside. You wouldn't expect him to drop back pass from here. But you don't get this too many times in a football game where you have a team on the 1 yard line.
Schmelzinger will come out under center. Hafner is the deep man. Coppola is your fullback. It's Hafner. Get a little bit of space, maybe a yard, maybe 2.
If I'm Wantagh, I'm putting a guy in every single gap, and I'm daring them to throw the football.
And I bet you if you were Garden City, you'd go play action.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you don't expect them to.
I would go play action, naked bootleg, and give my quarterback. You know, Schmelzinger is a good athlete. You know, no one really covers the quarterback, especially on naked bootlegs. If he has an opportunity to run, you run. If you get a receiver downfield, throw it open.
Offset backfield. Straight up the gut, nothing doing.
But now Garden City has some space. So on 3rd down there, I don't expect them to drop back pass and take a shot. I could see them playing for the field position, try to get a little bit more space and then punt it back and play some good defense.
Coach Edinger calling out the plays.
Loss of 1.
5.5 minutes and rolling in this first quarter. Again, I formation. Wantagh is packing the box. Schmelzinger, here's that roll. He'll throw it, and out shoots DeSantis. Good job by the defensive end, Corey Sachs, rather the linebacker Corey Sachs on the near side.
Great job by your defense. They only gave up 2 yards the entire drive. They stayed put, read their keys. As you said, look at the defensive end running out there to cover the tight end. That would be wide open.
I mean, if Sachs bursts towards the quarterback, then it's an easy pass.
Easy pass. Yeah, he pretty much dropped in coverage. There's not too many times you're going to see an end drop in coverage. Great play design by the defense.
Low snap. Almost blocked. A booming kick is taken by Jimmy Joyce. The 47-yard line went back 3 yards before going forward about 6.
Return by 33.
47 yards on the punt. I had the numbers right, 6 on the return.
It's a great punt.
Not an easy one with that low snap, too.
At least back to the 50. That's a huge punt, especially at the high school level.
You might be talking to a punter after the game.
Yeah, those 2 punts, tremendous, because that might change the scope of the game, especially for the first one. Coffin corner, if you can get some points. I'm telling you, if I was a defensive coordinator, I'm bringing pressure.
You didn't play any defense.
Not in college. High school I did, though. Safety, 7 picks.
You just hung around.
I didn't want to tackle anybody.
I know you weren't anybody.
Not at all.
7-0 lead, Garden City ball on the Garden City 43. Surace comes out. His screen pass. That was sniffed out. Sliwak will still end up. They haven't blown this dead. And Sliwak was stopped initially at the 41-yard line. Should have been a gain of 2. He continued to motor forward, gain of 8.
This is just leg drive. Play design. You know, Wantagh definitely has some tendencies because Garden City recognizes the tendencies early and those guys jump on it. And this is just help from the offensive line. Look at your big offensive lineman there. Pushing your running backs down the field.
You surprised they let that play go out?
Not at all. As long as the forward progress doesn't stop, I mean, the play continues.
2nd and 2, ball on the 35. Nearing in on 4 minutes. Tucker under center. Surace is your fullback. Sliwak the tailback. It's Surace. He'll have the first.
They've been very successful with that inside handoff to the fullback. It's a quick hitter. They're averaging about 6 yards on that play. Surace has some quick feet. You talked about him being a fullback, and he's a strong guy. But, you know, if he gets moving and gets to the 2nd level, he's the type of guy that won't get caught from behind.
Surace, a 5'10", just a shade over 200 pounds. Going to play lacrosse at Pace. Joyce is spread out wide left. Beckwith is the wide receiver near side. Sachs your tight end on the near side. I formation. Try to bounce it out towards the left side. Sliwak eludes DeSantis.
DeSantis? I'm not sure. He might be in the playbook. DeSantis was in the backfield so fast as we taking a look at this play. He comes off the edge. Watch him here. He almost takes the handoff. He's a little light for a defensive end, so he's not able to make the play in the backfield, but that's 2 times DeSantis jumps to play before the running back even gets an opportunity to get the football.
And you mentioned him being light, 6'2", 160, but just a sophomore.
There we go.
You're talking about probably 20 pounds before he graduates, at least. 2nd and 11. Beckwith in motion. It's going to be a straight run for Tucker. Lowers his head, dives down to the 30, gain of 3.
It's been a sound game so far. Garden City on defense. Great job of reading their keys. Wantagh, we talked a little bit about them spreading the football. They have changed some things up, seen some different formations. They aren't predictable, but they definitely have some tendencies that Garden City's picked up on early.
I thought we were going to see them throw it a little bit more.
I mean, they've been averaging about 4 or 5 yards on first down, especially running the inside run with the fullback.
Offset backfield with Joyce and Sliwak. Tucker looking to the air. Tucker tripped up, tosses it over left side, Sliwak. That was a magical play.
Tucker with a little Brett Favre, Tony Romo, falling down with the one-hand pitch. You see Tucker here, keeps his eyes downfield. He's real good in the pocket. That little trip there. And if he doesn't throw it as high, he's going to have an opportunity for a big gain. One more time, DeSantis there to stop a big play. Don't be shocked if you see Wantagh take a couple of shots with these short passes. The corners from Garden City are playing like 6-7 yards off.
Well, a big down here. Ball's on the 27, so no point in punting. It's 4th and 5. Less than 90 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Tucker looks to the air. Tucker crossed the green and picked off. Jumping in front was Jamie Atkinson, the junior. And essentially, that you could almost say that is like a punt would have been.
It's the equivalent of a punt. You have to take a shot. It's a turnover and downs anyway. You can see the Garden City staff is upset, telling them knock the ball down, give us a better field position. You didn't need to pick it off, but your first instinct as an athlete is to catch the football. But I can see Wantagh going back to those plays. They had those quick slants on the outside. The corners are playing that cover 2 position where they're outside looking to funnel, but the outside linebackers are playing inside the slot. So there's plenty of space there for those quick slants.
We watched that replay. You could tell Atkinson knew it right away. He was supposed to knock it down.
And that's the sign of a well-coached football team. Football is situational.
How about this, DeVal? They started on the 1 last time. Now they're starting on the 6. 3rd possession of the opening quarter. And actually, think about it, their opening drive was 90 yards. So they started at 10 there, too.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't had great field position, but their offense has been moving. Well, they moved the first drive.
Kevin Healy, our head referee. False start called against the Trojans. So half the distance, moving to the 3-yard line.
Now they're going back. I think this is another time here. If I'm the D coordinator, I'm going to bring the blitz. Dear Schmelzen going to beat me with his arm.
Bobby Casey on the left side. He's going to play lacrosse at Hofstra. Corey Sachs on the right side. He's just a junior. Those are your ends, essentially, right now. Schmelzinger in shotgun. Sends Atkinson in motion. Hands it off to Hafner. Hafner was hit in the backfield, but still dives forward. Now gets to the 10-yard line. Gain of 7.
Gain of 7 on first down. That's huge for Garden City.
Taken down by 11.
See Hafner, how he attacks the gap with almost reckless abandon. That's trusting your offensive line. He gets the football. He doesn't hesitate. There's no glide step. He's going straight to the gap. And he knows his pulling guard is going to come around and clear an alley.
Most of Hafner's yards came on that opening run, but he's at 7 carries for 80 yards. Barring a penalty or an incomplete pass, this will probably be the final play of this first quarter. 2nd and 6. Schmelzinger waiting out his blocks, dives forward, gain of a couple.
Outside of that first play, the Wantagh defense has done a great job of bottling up the running game of Garden City. That first play was huge, 56 yards, but other than that, and they almost stopped them there on third down. Third and goal on the first drive.
Third down 3.
This defense is playing well.
And that'll do it for the first quarter. So Garden City will have 3rd and 4 when we return. The Trojans started off for the Blaze.
Garden City 7,
A big run from Brian Hafner, who has 7 carries and 80 yards. Both punters have done a good job of helping their teams with field position. At the end of one, 7-0 Garden City. We'll come back to you right here on Verizon, Fios One Sports.
Semi-final game.
Ready to start the second quarter. Garden City up 7-0. Good season for the Wantagh Warriors, who are the 4 seed, 7-2, 6-2 in conference play, averaging over 30 points per game, giving up just about 16.5 shutouts against New Hyde Park and Long Beach.
Starting the second quarter. 3rd and 3.
Shotgun again for Schmelzinger. 3rd and 3 coming up. Fakes the handoff, dumps it out, and complete. Christian Cappola's got the first.
This defense has been sound in the first quarter. But as you see Garden City start to open some things up, it's almost as if the offensive staff from Garden City used that first quarter to see the tendencies of the defense. It's the first time we've seen that little screen play.
And they're stopping it right now because there's a problem with the scoreboard. So the clock never reset, which means the play obviously stands, but they'll have the official scorer now tell them where to roll it off to. I would guess about 53, 11:54. Now the clock will move. First and 10 on the 22. Fake the handoff to 22. Hafner instead is Schmelzinger. Schmelzinger is at the 48-yard line, a gain of 26.
And when Garden City gets rolling, they become dangerous on offense. Watch the read option. Look at Schmelzinger reading the end. No one covers the B gap, and he goes right up the B gap for a huge gain. Schmelzinger breaking a couple tackles. That's your quarterback, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel like if I was a quarterback, I'd love to run the read option.
Yeah, that's the only way I could have played quarterback because I can't throw.
You can't? You can throw a little bit.
Give me a good 20, 30 yards. But as far as anything further than that, not going to happen.
First and 10 on the 48. High snap, Schmelzinger. Quick pass out towards Mixon. And a gain of 9.
Can you see the rhythm now starting to build for Garden City, the pace changing?
You see Schmelzinger, by the way, going over, pointing at him. Yeah.
See there, it's a great pass for Schmelzinger.
Dangerous pass.
Receiver coming back to the football, catching the ball with his hands.
2nd and 1.5.
Running this check with me style of offense where they get lined up, they look to the sideline.
7-0 lead for the Trojans. Roll near side. Schmelzinger's going to keep it again. Schmelzinger has some more room. First down and more.
And he's starting to feel it. You can see the pep in his step. He's starting to maneuver through the defense, pick his spots.
Jolted down by Jimmy Joyce, number 33.
He pops up. Look, watch him looking at the end. You see him looking at the end there? It's almost as if he's daring the end to take a guess. And if he's going to give it or take it, once the end hesitates, he's gone.
There's your total rushing yards for Garden City, 137. 50 of them have come from Schmelzinger. Shotgun again, 1st and 10, 34-yard line. Looked like he wasn't sure whether to throw it short to Coppola or longer to Mixon.
Yeah, that's a little bit in between. They ran the flood concept, so you have a flat, a bench route, and a fade down the sideline, so you wanted to attack one side of the field with a short, intermediate, and long pass. And he threw that one right in between. I don't know if he pulled the string on it, wasn't sure where he was going to go.
Schmelzinger just has that high school quarterback look, doesn't he? Walking around, he's owning the field. Got the towel hanging from his pants. Tucks it, keeps it himself.
Once again, reading that read option.
Another yard and a half, 2 yards.
See, what's great about this is that his running back is so dangerous that the running back is always going to get the immediate attention from the defensive end. And that allows him enough time to get upfield for 3-4 yards of pop. And if he's able to get a good seam, he can bust one big.
Third down and 9.
3rd and 9, ball on the 33, probably 4 down territory now.
If you're Wantagh, you have to be careful because they'll run that read option play action. Well, he'll put the ball in the belly, pull it back, and throw one over the top as those linebackers start to draw closer and closer to the line of scrimmage.
Handoff is Hafner. Hafner's got nothing going on.
So now the defense is changing how they play, how they run the play. You can see the defensive end here. He doesn't come upfield. He continues to slide down. As he slides laterally, it doesn't allow Hefner or Schmelzinger to make a clear decision because he's not picking a player. He's just sliding down the line of scrimmage and just shortening the distance that they have at the sideline to make a change.
In Garden City, as Coach Edinger had said, they rotate in anywhere from 7 to 8 wide receivers. So you're seeing a lot of different players there. Schmelzinger looks like he's going to let the clock run down.
Keith, I want you to watch these ends when they run the read option. Most ends are told to just pick a player. So, for example, before the play is called a timeout.
I would actually like you to explain this to me. What's the thinking behind allowing the clock to run down, calling the timeout on the 29-yard line, 4th and 5?
I think it's just miscommunication. Not sure what play they were going to call. It's a huge point in the game because it's 7-0. Your offense has had some success. You don't want to just turn it over on downs, but just giving it back just doesn't seem to make sense. So they want to get a perfect play.
I mean, you're going for this, correct?
Oh, definitely. There's no doubt in my mind I'm going for this. If you punt and it goes into the end zone, you only gain
9 yards.
With 9 yards of field position, which if you don't get it, you're only really giving up 5 yards. If you go 4 yards of field position and you don't get the first down, you're not giving up much.
So it will be a 4th and 5 coming up on the 29-yard line. 8:34 on the clock. Conference 2, Nassau County semifinals. This is number 1 versus number 4. Read option.
It's been successful for them this entire drive.
4 wide receivers, so a little lighter on the line. Schmelzinger in shotgun, Hefner offset to the right, gonna look to the air. Has no one, tucks, tries to reverse field, gets a block, tosses it, and incomplete. Almost worked. In and out of the hands of McDougal.
4th down pass intended for numbers.
It looks like we're going to have a targeting foul here as one of the linemen peeled back to open up some space for Schmelzinger. Schmelzinger able to make some space and get the ball out to the receiver, but it was dropped. He would have had enough for the first down.
But it wouldn't have counted anyway. The penalty is declined. Turnover on downs.
Yeah, they went with the play action. And I think there might have been a miscommunication because he had 2 receivers in one spot. As you can see, the receiver, the lineman peeled back to block, and the defensive lineman turned his back at the last second and again blocking back. Great defensive stand from Wantagh. Bend but don't break.
Yeah, but now the Warriors need to do something offensively. Still less than 30 yards rushing. Serace fumbles it. Ball's loose. Still loose. And Wantagh will fall on it. Sean Colbert, the junior left guard.
Recovered by number 15,
Sean
Colbert.
That's not. You do not want to give Garden City the football back inside the 40. Let's see what happens here. The ball just pops out. He runs to the back of his blocker while he was trying to change hands coming across, and the ball pops out. He's lucky he's one of his offensive linemen able to fall on it.
With the lucky bounce, it basically turned from like a 2 or 3 yard gain to a gain of 7. Second and 3 on the 36. Looks like Watsak's coming off the edge on the near side for Garden City. They run the other way. Now it's a reverse. Beckwith has a first down.
Side reverse to number 11.
And we'll go down to the 47-yard line, gain of 11.
Nice play design, inside handoff with reverse action. You can see here you have your wing, you hand it to the back, and he hands it inside.